Welcome to DJ Cough Talk, you beautiful hairless monkeys.
Oh shit, we have G, Oat, men, and then D, Otamendi. Before we started, looks like Jesus, also a comic, does a lot of stand up. Originally, does it in Tucson. Just graduated from the U of A recently. Like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And then growing out the quarantine beard right now. So I just had a weird question to ask you because I know you probably appreciate it, but do you think dogs are constantly in the push-up position?
Damn, dude, that's a good question, man.
Strong start.
Yeah.
That's hard, man. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Normal. Do you think it feels like a push-up to them though?
I think it just feels like normal, like people like walking around, like we have 2 feet walking around, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure like a turtle or something is probably like, damn, that's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah,
like, using their feet.
Bipedal creatures walking around.
Yeah, man.
Running. My other one was our big toes, the thumbs of your feet.
Fuck. Dude. Yeah, dude. I think people can grab apples and shit with feet, right? That's
People
like a
play
thing.
guitar with their toes.
What's up?
People play guitar with their toes.
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
Well, Jimi Hendrix played a guitar with his teeth too.
Yeah. I didn't know that, but that's epic.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. People do crazy shit. Yeah.
Humans, amazing creatures.
Yeah. It's pretty intense. Pretty gnarly stuff out there. Yeah.
We're starting with very important questions.
Yeah, the driving ones.
Also, are you drinking a cup of coffee or what is that?
It's a green tea.
Okay. Right.
Yep. That Lipton green tea. Yep.
It's the good stuff.
What's up?
That's the good stuff. I gotta lean in a little bit. That's the good stuff. I don't know. I like doing when I get to a more stable time in my life. I want to start getting actual like leaves and grinding them up, and instead of the tea bags, I hear it changes the taste a lot and
Nice.
It's a little healthier. Yeah.
Cool. Have you tried it?
Nah. Well, I hear great things about it though. So.
It's like leaves. I don't know.
I don't know. More earth.
Yeah. Do you have something? Are you a coffee drinker or mostly like?
Yeah. No, I drink coffee this morning, and I was gonna get another cup of coffee right now, but I was like, oh, it's too much, man. I gotta switch it up right now. So
Fair enough.
change it to green tea. Yeah.
Try to limit myself to my coffee as well. I don't know if I keep drinking cups, it'll just day will be done. I'll be wired still, like 4th cup in.
Yeah, dude. And like I shit you not, like when I was in like going to school, like I would just drink coffee like all day, and if like I didn't have a cup of coffee, like I just get like pissed off and like.
I feel like that's a lot more normal in undergrad too, because that's like the culture. You just drink a lot of caffeine and read books.
Yeah.
We're like, that's awesome.
Yeah, dude. They're making us.
Yeah.
They're hardwiring us to do drugs, man.
I know, how dare they? It's a big conspiracy.
Yeah, dude. Bush did 9/11.
Yeah, who never knows? Steel might be melted. Who knows?
Yeah,
Do
dude.
you yourself a conspiracist?
What's up?
Do you consider yourself a conspiracist?
Not really. No, like the whole like Corona conspiracies. Like I don't really believe any of them. To be honest, I just feel like people are just.
What was it? 4G. Was that the conspiracy?
Well, no, there.
My bad.
No, well, yeah, I feel like that one's dumb too, but I don't. I was talking more about the coronavirus being man-made conspiracy that's been going around a lot.
Yeah.
Like, who would make a virus that's man-made that would affect the whole world? And, you know, it's like if it was like a country doing it specifically to attack another country, the other country would be all Gucci, you know? But
yeah. I think the thought of biowarfare is kind of creepy, though, or at least unsettling. To think we got this disrupted from a virus, and think about if a country did that and then they disrupted a big superpower like us or China, and then out of nowhere they start doing terrorist attacks. That's what I was slightly afraid of.
Dude, that's a real thing though, biowarfare. Because like in high school, like I had a teacher that said that she used to work for the government, and she basically alluded to the fact that they did some stuff like that. Stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think it was more common too. At least it seems more common because they uncovered the documents, declassified them, but using biowarfare in Vietnam and the Cold War and stuff like that. And you guys might know the name of the study, but they would make people crazy off LSD or something, or like off gases, and then feel like they were gonna go insane to mess with their heads.
Yeah, dude, it's gnarly. It's crazy. It's like we have like so much technology that we can use for like good, but I feel like a lot of times we just use it for like just negative shit.
You think
like,
so?
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like I don't know. Like I feel like everything's kind of like a double-edged sword at the end of the day. Like it's cool that we have technology and we can like talk to each other like we're doing right now. Like via Zoom and stuff. Like that's pretty cool. But guns are bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bad. Okay.
Do you think we'll ever get to the point, like, in like technological warfare where like it gets to be too much, like too easy to like hurt somebody or kill somebody, and like that'll change how we interact?
Yeah, like you just don't treat killing like it's a big deal anymore. Is that kind of where you're getting to?
Yeah, I feel like we're kind of getting to that point. Everybody's so desensitized about shit. Like, oh, it's just another thing. Like even like people wanting to Arizona's reopening, right? Like this week.
Partially, yeah.
So like even like at that, like people are like making the argument like, oh, like we have to reopen for the economy and like a couple 100,000 lives don't matter. Like I feel like people are getting to that point now. So like I can't picture like in the future like how crazy it's gonna get. But yeah, for sure, definitely.
Yeah, what popped in my head was drone strikes. When you were answering, and that happens all the time, but people don't acknowledge it.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on.
Man.
I mean, you did a lot of communication stuff in college, at least studying it, but it depends on what filter bubble you're in. I feel like if you're gonna actually notice what's going on, if you're really into warfare and CIA stuff and international relations, then you're gonna be more upset about someone getting bombed that you didn't want to get bombed. But
yeah, dude.
in your own business working, it doesn't really resonate.
Yeah, dude, because like people are always like in their own bubbles and stuff at the end of the day, It's like people who, I don't know, work retail or whatever and aren't in that industry aren't going to be as aware as people who work in that industry and be like as vocal about problems that they see and stuff. I don't know if I'm making any sense.
You're making sense.
Yeah, I'm sure.
No, just keep throw out the ideas and we'll try to just bounce them around and play with them. That's the whole, I think, the essence of this podcast, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just throw an idea and we play with it.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude, I think it's interesting the point you made, though, that people seem to be kind of desensitized. And, like, the numbers of people that are dying from this, I mean, it's hard because you see the comparison to other things that people die from, and part of you, I mean, at least I can't talk for anybody else, for myself. I feel like I feel like part of me wanting to be like, oh, well, comparatively, it's not like that bad. But when it comes down to it, that's a lot of people dying,
Yeah, dude, like it's like it's all like a trip right now, man. Like everything's just so like fucked up and like I feel like a lot of social issues and stuff are just a response to like tension, a lot of like, emotions and stuff. So I feel like a lot of people just kind of express it in different ways and I don't know if I'm making any sense again, but
you're making clear sense, man.
I think shit's just getting crazy, should be real out in the streets.
It's kind of piggybacking off of that is people, I think, lean toward escapism when things get crazy.
Yeah, man.
People will watch more Netflix shows and they don't really know what they can do and they just hang out. And sometimes, depending on the individual, some people lose their routines. And
yeah, dude. Like me, I've definitely lost my routine, like just throughout this whole shit because like, well, like right when I graduated, like from the U of A, like I was just like job hunting and stuff. I was doing this writing internship, but then like the whole pandemic shit just kind of fucked with me. So I just like wasn't blah blah.
Yeah, fuck you. Like months, 2.5 months.
Shitty timing for you, huh?
Yeah, dude. So it was just like, I mean, I was I just wasn't able to like keep up with my routine and shit, and then just fucking just watch Netflix all day and fucking
How often were you doing stand up during that time period? Once a
Oh,
week?
dude, a
Yeah.
lot. It was like every night, going to open mics, doing a couple shows here and there. And that was pretty much my whole life, like right after college, because I was like, oh, I'm gonna like try at this and
Yeah, we
see
got
how.
time now.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
right. What are some of the spots in Tucson? From somebody like I would love to go check out a spot. I just don't know any of them. Where's your go-to spots?
Yeah, there was like a lot of bar open mics that I would hit up. Like the Surly Wench had one on Monday.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, it was like at 7. It was like at 8 p.m. every Monday, and then Tuesdays there was one at this bar. What was it? It's called the Music Box. That one was like on, kind of like by Broadway. But I mean, there wasn't like a big crowd. It was just kind of like to work stuff out there. Like there was just people, and people weren't expecting comedy. They were just wanted to go drink, and like,
Oh, it's like a general like open mic.
yeah, dude.
Oh.
But yeah, it was.
Well,
And then the screening room was on Wednesdays.
Huh.
Well, at the screening rooms, I would say there was a lot of shows that I would do there too, because I co-produced a roast battle show there with some of my friends.
Oh, that's right. That's cool.
And I also am part of a Tucson sketch comedy group, and we've been doing like online video sketches and stuff during the quarantine. And it sucks because we had like two shows in May that were all planned out, and it just because of all this we can't do it anymore. But yeah, in Tucson, I would say like the main stand-up show comedy places is Laughs and Borderlands Brewery. They had a monthly stand-up show there.
Yeah.
And the Surly Wench had a lot of monthly shows there.
How do you like doing shows in front of like a general open mic, like maybe some drunk people at a bar, as opposed to going to like a stand-up place to do comedy? Is there a difference in the audience, or which do you like better?
Yeah, dude, for sure. Because like some of the open mics are popping, like at the screening room. There was we would usually get like a big crowd of, because they used to have an open mic there. There would be like a decent crowd, but like at a bar, it's just like, people getting drunk on a Tuesday, just wanting to shoot the shit with their coworkers after work, and then like, someone like me is just like, oh, what's the word? Blah 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 blah. People are just like, who the fuck is this guy?
Right.
Talk.
I'm sorry, brother. Do you think if you could do a room like that, it makes doing other rooms easier, though? If you can do a room where it's that difficult to get, people don't even want to listen to you yet, and then you can maybe if
Dude,
your skill,
definitely.
you can just get any room at that point. You demand attention.
Yeah, dude, for sure. Because you kind of have to like fight for it. Like when it's like nobody wants to listen to you, you have to like do your best shit and get their attention the best possible way. And it like makes you funnier when you're doing a show, because like, it's like if you can I guess like my philosophy with that is like, if you can kill like at an open mic, you can do great at an actual show.
Yeah. How do you get people's attention just out of interest? Like, what are your techniques for doing that? Or what have you seen other comics do just to get a room?
Like there was at the Rock, like 3 or 4 weeks before the quarantine started happening, they had an open mic there, and like not a lot of people went because it was an up and coming open mic. So like when I first did it and there was like no like real crowd there, like I straight up just like fucking bombed. But then like I kind of realized like, the next time I went to that open mic, like, oh, I have to like just kind of like make myself laugh, and then like that usually made other people laugh, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. You got to have fun with it.
Yeah, as opposed to just being like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go to this bit, this bit, this bit. You kind of just have to be more like present and like kind of be more conversational,
Right.
That's kind of tough. Do you feel like it gets easier with the more you do it, that aspect of it?
Yeah, for sure. Just like the more you do it, it's like anything, like, oh, if I work out more, like it'll be easier to run a mile, know.
I'm curious, what was your first experience like getting up in front of a crowd to do stand up?
Oh man, that was fucking terrible, dude. It was at Espresso Art. They used to have an open mic there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was like 2 years before I started like actually like trying and doing it more. Like it was like the first time I had gone up, like my friend Rich, he had a open mic there, and I just saw on the Facebook event. I was like, okay, I'll try it out there. Like I went up for like 10 seconds and I just fucking ate it, and then I didn't do it for like 2 years, dude.
Oh shit. It's a great place to say you start though.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What do you think? Is there going to be, for you personally, do you think there's going to be any boundaries for once like the COVID restrictions start lessening up, like using this current event in your work? Is it something you've thought about?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like everybody's going to be talking about coronavirus or quarantine because that's like what they've lived through and stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like some people are going to be sensitive to it because they probably lost, you know, family members or whatever the situation may be. So I feel like because in comedy there's like I would say there's like 3 types of comics or whatever. There's like the ones who are just like edgelord comedians who just want to be like edgy and stuff. And then there's like the social commentary ones, and then they're just like the silly people. But I think more people are just gonna try to not talk about that because it's kind of heavy shit. But I feel like edgelord comics are gonna be like, oh, I'm just gonna talk about this because it's edgy, you know.
Or even the silly ones, you know.
Yeah, dude. Like I feel like if you, I just feel like if you can make something funny, like whatever it is, I'm game for it, you know. Just as long as you're creative and you're funny. That's my standard.
That's got to be tough to do that one right, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, I'm curious, where would you say you put yourself if you were to put yourself in one of those 3 categories?
Oh man, that's a good question. Fuck. What did I say the 3 ones were? What was
Silly, social commentary,
edgelord.
Edgelord, I don't know. I like to be in the middle of all of that, kind of draw from all. Like I don't want to be like just known for being like silly or being just like political comedian or. I like to consider myself someone who's in between all of that. Which I'm probably not. I feel like that was kind of a pretentious answer in what I just said.
I'm all of them. I'm simply the best.
I don't think so.
You're fine.
Where do you draw some, like, okay, so what made you want to start doing comedy? Was it something you felt like you wanted to do for a while? Is there a particular couple of individuals that got you into it, or?
Yeah, it was kind of like, because before I went to the U of A, I went to Pima, and I took an acting class, and I kind of liked that, but I always just kind of liked being funny, you know? And I was like, oh, okay, like, you know, I didn't pursue acting at the U of A or anything like that, but I was like, oh, maybe I can try like stand-up. And then I kind of started listening to like more podcasts and stuff. I think I was like 20 years old. I was like found out about all these comedians and stuff. And I was like, okay, I'll try it out. So I guess, yeah, that's kind of like, but like one of my friends who was in that acting class, his name was Rich, and that's kind of like where I kind of figured there was like a comedy scene here because he did stand-up comedy here, and kind of got introduced to the stand-up comedy scene through him.
I remember when you were doing the Wombo thing on the mall.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of seeing where that would go. That's pretty fun. That's like the thing I'll explain to you in a second.
I was going to say, what's a Wombo thing?
So, like, you know, in SpongeBob, when it's like me Wombo, you Wombo, we all Wombo. And then this dude, I'm not sure if it was Rich, but one of your buddies was on the mall and just would randomly come up to people and start doing that. And you just see the different reactions. Advertise the comedy club. It's kind of funny to see the variety of reactions though.
Yeah, because some of them were just terrible reactions. Like people were just like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
You know, and they kept laughing.
They're scared.
That's awesome.
It's absurd. Yeah.
Probably pretty effective in some cases.
Well, it's even funnier on U of A of all campuses too, because we're not really a quirky campus. We're more of like a Greek cool SoCal. You know, people were like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" It's like, no.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, everybody was like on a mission, just like walking, you know. And we just popped up and like interrupted their day, you know, pretty much. But yeah.
That's funny.
Cool. So what's up, guys?
So doing podcast here, you know, talking.
John, from your background there, you like Boondock Saints? I'm guessing.
I guess, yeah. I've had this poster for a while.
I don't really know what it is.
Cover
Yeah, it's
something.
Boondock Saints. I like that movie. I don't think I love it. I don't even really know why.
Why is it on your wall?
It's a good question, dude. I just have it, and I think one day I was just like, okay, I need a poster, and I bought a poster, and I was like, yes, that's it. You know, that's
Yeah,
I guess I like this movie.
that'll do.
Isn't that about?
That'll do.
Isn't it like a couple Irish brothers or some?
Yeah.
Or some shit.
Yeah, only kill people in the name of the Lord,
Yeah.
much like our good people do.
Yeah, it has the guy from The Walking Dead in it. That one
Like-
dude with the bow. Did you watch The Walking Dead?
Nah, I didn't. Still,
That guy's in it.
what was the thing when the Romans killed like a bunch of people? Hey man,
The Inquisition.
hey Jesus.
Oh, what's the?
And the
What's
Romans
that
killed like the Crusades.
Crusades, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
commented to that earlier, but I blanked out. But here I am, continuing it 20 seconds later. But killing in the name of Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. And my name is Jesus, so they were
I know,
calling
it's
me.
crazy.
Yeah. That maybe that's why I love it. Yeah, that's why I like
Got
it.
drawn to it. Yeah.
If you were Jesus, would you be cool with people killing in the name of you?
Oh fuck no! I'd be like, what the fuck are y'all doing, dude? Let's just party and get turned and have a good time.
Yeah.
You
Have a
know?
good time.
Right? I just feel
Yeah,
like and Jesus seemed like he was probably a chill dude. I don't know why.
Yeah, dude. He had a beard. He's pretty much like your average hippie dude from nowadays. You know,
Doesn't want to hurt anybody. Like,
wear
Also-
sandals. Yeah.
yeah, he just doesn't sound like a very violent person to me. But
Yeah.
somewhere along the line, we got a little
Read the scripture a little differently.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like religion is just kind of like an example of how people just kind of interpret shit, like, as opposed to objectively absorb stuff. If that makes any sense. Like, I feel like people kind of, I don't know, like everybody has a narrative and a bias and whatever. But,
Yeah. Well, I think maybe the problem might be people want an objective truth from religion when the truth in the Bible is unique to everyone who reads it to an extent. And then there's like those underlying messages that are really deep and profound, but they get represented in people differently. And I think people freak out when they see someone else represented differently. Like,
Yeah.
like there's memes where there's a snake god and the rabbit god. And they're like, we're going to kill these people because they worship the snake. They're evil. Like, well, they essentially are the same shit as us, but different, very slightly different customs.
Yeah.
It's damn outsiders, though.
yeah.
Kill them all. That's
Kill
what
'em all.
happened.
Do you know of any? Sorry, and I probably should start out by asking if you consider yourself religious.
I don't know, man. I'm kind of like, I'm kind of agnostic-y, I would say. Like, that could be, or I don't really feel like that has anything to do. Like, I feel like if it helps, you know, I feel like for some people it works, and that's cool,
Yeah.
you know, just do you, and if that helps you be a better person, that's fine. But I
Yeah.
don't think it's necessary for being a moral person. Like, I feel like people can be moral if they want to be, but yeah, I guess it's just kind of whatever works, whatever floats your boat, man. You know,
Yeah.
that's kind of how I see it. I'm kind of just, I guess for myself, I'm kind of agnostic-y. Like, it could, you know, God could be a thing, it could not be a thing.
Who
But
the fuck knows?
I feel like, yeah, it's kind of.
I wonder though. Do you see like are there many comedians that are like religious? I feel like I don't know too
Not
many.
really. I feel like everybody's kind of more, because just trying to figure. I've never heard anybody talk about like Jesus humor. Like, I've never heard like a Christian comedian or anything like that. in
That'd be
Tucson.
weird. I wonder what that would look like.
Yeah, it'd be like, oh, I don't know. I can't even think of it.
Do you ever use any like religious bits or whatever in your stand-up?
I did for a little. I think I did. Fuck, I forgot. I think I made like a joke about my name being Jesus or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my name is Jesus, but I'm not really religious. Ha ha. And it was like a whole joke. Yeah.
I wonder. You probably got to feel a lot of pushback whenever you like get near that topic of religion.
I feel like I get pushed. Like, I have a Trump joke, and I feel like sometimes because it's Arizona, you get pushed for that, depending on, because, like, you know, I feel like in Arizona there's like always like there's like diehard Trump fans out there, and if they're there, you know, you're gonna bomb in the show. You're just not gonna do good. But yeah,
Can you
I
play
feel
up them being upset and just feed your bit more, or is that too polarizing?
like I just kind of like I feel like in stand up you kind of just have to be real about how you feel about stuff, and you know if it pisses people off, like I'm not because in my Trump joke I don't really even say that it's Donald Trump. Like I just kind of make fun of the fact that like people voted for him because he told people that China invented global warming. Like that's the whole bit, pretty much. And I just go more into it. But I don't even really even say Donald Trump's name, but people kind of know, and people get kind of pissed off about that.
You're a little butthurt.
Yeah.
What's the process for making a bit, at least for you?
It's kind of all over the place. Like sometimes I'll just like write and sit down and just like stream of consciousness, or sometimes I'll like think of something just funny randomly and I'll write that down. And sometimes I'll just like kind of riff off of something that's kind of already a thing, and then I'll just come up with it on the spot, I guess. It's kind of all over the place.
You kind of just think of absurd things, like,
Yeah.
or you identify them in that stream of consciousness, and you go, "Oh, that's kind of nuts that people actually voted for Trump because he said the global warming was real," and then you tie that together. And then when you actually create like the bit itself, though, is it you're just trying to find a way to present that absurdity in a way that just actually engages the audience, though, so they'll hear that and they're like, because you actually it sounds natural and it's not awkward or robotic, and you actually get off the crowd, and that's like all the subtle parts I feel like of stand up, because you can't just people see people do it and they're like, oh, I could do that. They just go up there and say a couple jokes, and then you have an experience where you bomb, and then you realize how hard it is. Not everyone wants to listen to you, because the good guys make it look easy. Just like discipline.
Yeah, it's all just like practice and just getting up there, trying it, and kind of tweaking it and making it work better.
So haven't you've only done like stand up in Tucson?
I've done it in Phoenix and in what was it? It was one of the, it's not Sierra Vista. Oh, Douglas. I did a show in Douglas one time.
Okay. I wonder how much do you think about your audience, and how much does that influence like what you write? If you were to like make a set for like just yourself, would it be a lot different than what you present to like audiences here, or would it be pretty similar?
It's a good question. I feel like I always have to be into whatever I'm talking about, but I do feel like different crowds, you kind of do have to some extent cater to them a little bit.
Right.
But I feel like, yeah, because different crowds are like, because when I did the show in Douglas, like everybody there is Mexican and I'm Mexican, right? So I just thought, okay, I'm gonna fucking murder here, you know, I'm the only Mexican from Tucson.
Right.
Going over there, it's gonna go great. But I didn't do that great, you know? I didn't do that great. And I felt like I kind of had to like, but I also felt like I was kind of catering too hard and I wasn't being myself. So I feel like you kind of have to be yourself at the end of the day, and kind of, it's a balance. Like, don't go full, like, did you ever watch Tropic Thunder?
Don't go full retard.
Yeah, just don't overdo it, you know? It's kind of
fun in that.
Never go full retard.
Dude, that movie's crazy because Robert Downey Jr. did blackface.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
They let it happen, too. But they were talking about that, though. And he was making fun of, you're supposed to be making fun of actors that take themselves so seriously that they think they're awesome enough to be blackface and still be a...
Yeah, no, it was funny. I like that movie. It's one of my favorite movies. I just feel like nowadays it probably wouldn't go so well. But yeah. It's fucking funny though.
Yeah, but it was also a comedy too, so.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
What would be your top couple of like actors or comedians that like make you laugh the hardest? Maybe not since you study comedy, maybe not like technically the best, but people that just you think are fucking hilarious.
Oh, that's a good. I love Will Ferrell. He just makes me laugh all the time.
Yeah.
Like anything, like I just straight up, like sometimes I just watch like the random interview clips from like Conan and stuff that he does.
Yeah.
And I just like keep dying laughing. It's just because like I grew up watching him a lot, and I just thought he was funny. But I think he's one of my favorites for sure. It just makes me laugh. Oh, Tracy Morgan. I love Tracy Morgan. He's so fucking funny, dude. He just says the craziest shit. Like there was a joke where he's just like, where he talks about bingo wings, and then somebody's like, "Oh, what are bingo wings?" It's like, "Oh, it's when the lady at a bingo place goes like bingo," and he's talking about a fat person, and like the fucking like, yeah, it's so fucking funny, dude. Like, I just love him because of that. He's so funny, man.
Do you think those both seem like people that have like just in general like funny personalities? Like they're funny too. If like when Will Ferrell walks in the frame, he could just sit there and stand there on the camera. You start laughing.
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
do you think that there's like, do you have to have that balance and feel that like to somewhat be born with it and have a funny personality, or do you think it's more so like can you train into it?
I feel like there's like I feel like comedy is like so big now that I feel like there's kind of room for like anybody. And I feel like, well, like for me, like I just feel like the funniest people in the world are just like inherently funny and just funny like all the time. And I feel like Will Ferrell and like Tracy Morgan are like some of those people. But I feel like because like I've seen it too, like open micers and stuff who like kind of suck in the beginning, and then like they become funnier because their writing is better and stuff. So I feel like you can do both for sure. Like you can just be naturally funny, but you can also kind of like, train into it or whatever. Just kind of like practice and become better at stand-up and stuff for sure. Definitely.
All right.
There's a recent comedian, like one of the new wave comedians, but one of his whole bits was on him meeting Tracy Morgan and walking around the block. I just thought it was so crazy that you can create your own bit just based off of how funny another human being is, because the whole thing was just about his conversation with him. And he just told the story, but it's funny because it's Tracy Morgan.
Yeah. Oh, is it that Bert Kreischer story?
The one where he's walking around the block, and then Tracy Morgan like looks at him, and like he's almost in tears, but he asks a question, and then right when he leaves, he says "bus pass" and swipes his butt, and then walks onto a bus. That's the whole point, but it's hilarious. Tracy Morgan, and that's just his whole vibe, and he gives off this whole energy and.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, no, yeah, that is pretty crazy though. Like, cause like when somebody's saying that, you're kind of like picturing it in your head. That's why it's like so funny.
You can see
like,
what he'd be doing.
Yeah.
It's dope.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
How much do you rely on like actual events that happen in your life to like put into your set, or is it? I always wondered, is it taboo to like kind of like make up stories, or is that done?
Yeah, I feel like some people kind of like embellish stories for sure. Like some people just kind of like make stuff up. But I feel like when I was first starting, like I kind of just kind of talked about like what I was going through and stuff. Like just like, oh, like I used to work at Target, and I just talked about working at Target or whatever.
Right.
What was that like? I mean, that's a very broad question, but Target employment, like working at Target, what was your experience like with them? Like what?
Oh, I mean, I was young. Like right after high school, I kind of just like went into like working at Target because it was like, yeah. But I guess because I was young and that was like my first job. Like I feel like everybody kind of hates their first job.
Yeah.
So I kind of just hated it. But like looking back, it was probably like out of all the jobs that I've done, it's probably the best because it's like one of the more chiller ones that I've had, and they're not on top of you as opposed to like other jobs that I've done after that.
Cool.
So I kind of like, I feel like it was probably one of the better jobs that I had. Did I love Target and was that my passion in life? Fuck no. That was not what I was trying to do.
I mean, was Core pretty, until he used to work at Core as well, but was Core pretty intense? Because I figure that's the place to go on campus.
Yeah, dude, it wasn't because, well, like the first like when the first year that I started working at Core, it was the one at the PSU at the Park Student Union. But the manager was chill as fuck, dude. Like we were straight up because he knew I was a philosophy major, and then we would just talk about like philosophy and shit. Like, oh, what are you philosophizing about now? So, like he was a pretty cool dude. But then like he left, and then like I had a new manager, and he just fucking sucked, dude. Shit, man. He didn't let me go on break one time, and he started like yelling at me in front of everybody, and then I just fucking told him off and shit, and that was the whole thing. Yeah, that guy sucked, but yeah.
Is he still there?
No, I stopped because you can't work there after you graduate, so I stopped working there.
Absolute management is undergrads then. I wonder, it was the same lady who ran the whole thing though, right? Who used to be your boss, Devin?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I used to work at Den.
Yeah, I was up at the Den, and we had.
Oh, was it Lupita?
Yeah.
Oh, she was nice to me. She was
on a good side.
Tense at times.
Yeah, like if you're on a good side, she's nice. But I saw her get fucking on some people, and I was like, I'm not crossing this bitch over. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, she was chill. Did you ever meet Cece?
I don't think so.
Oh, she was chill. She was a good person.
Yeah.
We had a buddy named Ike that used to work at the Den. He had a dildo named Brooke, and I think he brought him. It's not pretty funny. He's pretty. I'll actually interview him one of these times. He's got an awesome life, but he had this dildo named Brooke, and he brought it to work. I think he brought it to the Den, which like literally he probably could have gotten sued.
Put it in his backpack or just pull it out when nobody.
He'd have it under
You're just like, hey, what's up, bro? This is my fucking dildo name.
Roll food in the freezer, and then there'd just be a dildo on like the fourth aisle, and he'd post it on Snapchat and stuff.
That's fucking
crazy,
hilarious.
dude. I love that guy.
That is funny. I think that was the first time I met him talk like at work. I think he was new. He only lasted, I think, a couple like weeks or
He's
months.
got a couple paychecks.
He had the dildo in his pants. Just like stick the tip out. Yeah, like he was like on your hand and trying to look over it. Like dildo hanging out of his pants.
Crazy, dude.
That's fucking hilarious. That's
He used to stick to services too when he'd come into a house. So he'd walk in a house, just throw it on the ceiling, and there'd just be it'd take about 2 days till it fell.
Really? That's funny.
There's a photo of him I might actually post it later if it allows mention, but it's him on a dinosaur with the dildo in his hand. He's screaming with his legs sprawled out. It's pretty hilarious. It's the one near near the Sabine. Where is it near?
It's like if you're going up to Mount Lemon, there's a McDonald's on Sabino Canyon and Grant or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's near Tanque Verde Falls.
Yeah,
I think it's on Tanque Verde.
That's a cool place. I like Tanque Verde Falls.
Yeah, but there's a photo of him on a dinosaur. Never forget. That's awesome. It was entertaining. It was like almost like going to Disneyland when you would visit.
Yeah,
he visited once.
That's funny.
Guy. What a guy.
Yeah.
Cool. Jesus.
What's up?
Said hi.
Oh, what's up?
Did we do any improv?
Like improv, no, I haven't. Like in that sketch troupe that I'm in, it's all just kind of like written out. We have scripts and stuff, but just more acting. Yeah.
I was gonna suggest we try like some sort of improv. Just give a random topic and.
Oh yeah, I'll try that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Down right now. Do you have to create a scene or what? Is that how it works? I've never done improv.
I think you could do like, yeah, we could set a scene, just like a random scene, like
I'm walking into the living room and I'm really visibly just distraught, and then you guys are just minding your own business, and then you secretly just found out your girlfriend's pregnant, but you don't want to tell anybody. So you're waiting for the right moment to bring it up, and past relationship, and then she kind of just popped into his life, and then she left again, but it was a little tumultuous.
Okay.
And then you're like completely oblivious to everything that's going on, and you just got off work.
Okay.
And then I just come in distraught from a random room.
Like you're just sad. Okay.
Yeah, and then we're in like a living room.
Okay. Cool.
Right.
Right.
Why the fuck is there a wet noodle on the ceiling? Why would you fucking do that? Which you fucking sickos?
My
did
girlfriend's pregnant. My
What?
girlfriend's pregnant.
I don't know, man.
Wait, what?
I just got home.
What?
Wait, what? What'd you say? Sorry.
What's
What?
up?
What girlfriend? You haven't been talking to anybody. What are you
What?
talking?
What? Wait. What?
Forget
What?
about the noodle. I don't really care about that, right? I mean, I'm like, I'm freaking out because it's been there and it just came out of nowhere and it's gross. Kind of have to go to the bathroom. The whole bit. What's the deal with who? Who are you with?
You guys never met Janice?
No.
Didn't I bring her over that one time when we were all playing cricket in the backyard?
Was this before or after I rolled both my ankles?
Oh shit, that was with my other roommates in my other house 2 years ago. Shit, you guys never met Janice?
No.
But yeah, she's pregnant, dude. I'm freaking out. It's fucking crazy.
Like this.
Huh?
Right.
That wide?
Here.
What?
How tall is the lady?
What?
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 I think he's retarded.
There we go, full retard.
You okay?
I'm not okay, dude. My girlfriend's pregnant.
Yeah.
I fucking thought you guys met her and you guys haven't. So
Dude,
it's just a really awkward situation to be
It's
in. right
extremely
now.
awkward. We're not making Betty better. Saying what?
Yeah.
Stopping conversations?
What?
So you're gonna fucking explain why there's a wet noodle on the ceiling?
Hey man, I just got home. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. White noodle.
Don't double cross me, chemo savvy.
I'm not looking away because I'm not lying.
Yeah, he's suspicious. I agree. Why is that? noodle?
Great. I mean, we'll put the girlfriend behind us right now for now. I mean, don't you
Yeah.
big deal. I want to
Yeah.
talk about it later.
I don't even have a baby right now.
Where's a human on the way?
Don't pin this on me. I want to have a safe home. You need to have a good home before you can deal with other things.
What's the worst case scenario? A fucking noodle falls on your head. This man's gonna have a baby.
Yeah, but it's a deeper issue. We're messing with the order of the house. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm honestly more concerned about the noodle than the
He's
baby. You
concerned
know,
about the
like, yeah.
I'm actually more concerned he's not concerned about the
I'm
noodle.
concerned he's not concerned about a baby when there's a fucking noodle on the roof.
There was a noodle on the way. I agree. Why did,
Can we name your baby noodle?
What?
and that's why I can't get the smell of catnip off my anal beads. Okay, that's not bad.
What's your worst experience with a roommate?
Oh, dude, I lived at home pretty much all throughout college.
Saves a lot of money.
Yeah. And because I went to Pima first, and then like I transferred to the U of A, and I just felt weird about like going to dorms like later, like than most people. So I just kind of stayed at home pretty much.
Very good call. I went later, and it was odd.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did CC the first couple of years too, and then went into a dorm because I couldn't find another place to live. I'm from Phoenix, and
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
See, like I would do it if I was like if I went to school like in Phoenix or something, because I'm from Tucson, so.
yeah. Have there been any like experiences with like people in your house living at home? Anything?
Like, well, I mean, whenever I just like fuck around and stuff, like I usually just go to like other people's houses. And
Gotcha.
I don't get lit or anything over here, so
Mhm.
yeah. But I can't do that now because I live at home. I feel like I'm in high school. You know, I'm like
That's a lot
fucking
weird.
20. Like I'm 24, and I can't. You know, it's not. This is an awkward situation to be in, but yeah.
I feel that, man. A lot of people are in that situation these days.
So what's the game plan? What before this all like COVID shit happened? What were you looking at getting into as far as job wise? What were you searching for?
I was gonna look into marketing because when I was undergrad, I did a few marketing internships.
Right.
Like I did one for the Student Health Advocacy Committee at the U of A, and then I did one at Borderlands, and I was doing a marketing writing internship after I graduated, but it just didn't go as I planned. So I was looking at like marketing and stuff, just because I thought it'd be like a decent job to have if I were to pursue comedy.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you planning on staying in Tucson, or are you going wherever the wind blows you, or?
Yeah, kind of like I was planning on kind of moving to like out of state to try comedy. I was thinking about going to like LA or New York because those are like the bigger scenes that you can actually like
Right.
get more money and more exposure and stuff. Because here it's kind of like there's only like so much you can do. Like I feel like it's kind of cool here in Tucson though because you can like pretty much make your own show and produce your own show and pretty much do whatever you want if you really want to. But I feel like if I'm trying to go to like, excuse me, an actual like comedy club and get more recognized for doing club shows and stuff, I'd want to go out of state. So that was my plan before this whole pandemic went down. But yeah.
New York
New York.
or LA. Damn.
Yeah,
It's a big switch up from Tucson.
that it is.
Yeah. But I feel like before I'd move out, I have to get a job first and like raise enough money to move out
Yeah.
and be okay for a month. And, yeah.
Makes sense.
Finding
See
that,
that. What's up?
finding that balance. You got to get the
Mhm.
fuel to move your project forward. I feel like money gets demonized sometimes by our generation. You know, it's you need gas for your car. You know, figuratively and literally.
Yeah, and because it's like, there's not really like, it's like you have to just work with what you got, Unfortunately, we don't live in like a society where you don't have to rely on money, you kind of have to have money and to do things. So like not that money's the end all be all, but it definitely helps for sure if you're trying to do something, Yeah.
Move you forward.
It's maybe getting
Sure.
philosophical, but I'm sitting with
Sure.
two philosophy majors. So, well, do you think we'll ever get to a point where currency is a non-issue? And B, what do you think that would look like if we get to the point where, like, everything's abundant, so we don't need like currency?
I feel like we're kind of at that point where we don't need to like, because I feel like there's classism, obviously. Like, it's like if you're rich, you're gonna be able to do more things, and if you're of a lower class, like you're kind of stuck in that cycle unless you work really, 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 really hard to get out of that. I feel like we have resource-wise, it's like we throw away food every day, in this country's first world country. Like we have enough food for the whole planet if we really wanted to just be giving food to people. And I feel like it's going to be a while before we kind of actually do something about it and kind of are more compassionate to one another. And we live in a society where we don't need to, make people grind so hard, to because it's like there's people who have like 3 or 4 jobs who are, barely getting by and stuff, and like it's just hard. Like I feel like we do, like resource wise, I feel like we're at that kind of point, but it's like it's kind of evident right now, like everybody's more concerned about reopening and getting money, and and it's not necessarily their fault. It's kind of like society's fault for kind of feeding you the idea that that's the only way to. But I don't know. I'm going off on a tangent, but
It depends on I don't know. It depends on the game can't be rigged in a way where if you grind that hard, you get like not very good returns for it. That makes sense.
I feel like sometimes you kind of, the game is kind of rigged that way because it's like
it is, but it can be. But you want to make sure. I think the moral struggle is making sure the game doesn't get too rigged, and that people, if they work hard, get compensated for their efforts. That's just, I feel like there's a lot of people problems that get in the way of that. And various fights, pride or greed or something like along those lines.
Yeah, it's just like I just feel like it's always going to be an imbalance, like with this model, because like there's going to be somebody at the top who's like, okay, I want to benefit the most because I'm at the top, and I try to keep the bottom people at the bottom and make them kind of be useful for me. But
there'll be a couple people who play it like that, monopolize it. Yeah.
Because it's like in Mexico, there's like monopolies everywhere. Like Walmart pretty much owns like a lot of the grocery stores and stuff that used to be like independent. Like there's like if you it's and even here there's um like I think like four of the media companies are pretty much owned by one bigger company or something like that. I don't know if I'm just I don't know if I'm even correct about that, but I heard something like that. So I feel like there are kind of monopolies here too, but
Yeah.
yeah, should be great, man.
I've heard some of that too. Somebody again, I don't know. I didn't do the research. I don't know how like credible this is, but somebody told me that like Fox and like CNN are technically owned by like the same individual if you follow the money trail far enough.
Yeah, I heard that too. And like, but yeah, same. I haven't done the research, so I don't know if that's 100% true. But yeah, I heard that too. Yeah.
Yep. Should make even more sense why they're like pointing at each other so much, you know.
It makes more money for them
Yeah.
too, though.
Yeah.
People like the entertainment, though. Like having a sports team.
Yeah. It's
Might
like
not be
my
the-
team versus your team.
Yeah, it might not be the best for the country, but pays bills. I mean, it's kind of what a lot of people argue is that the fact that we've generated wealth is a blessing, sort of, though, considering that didn't really happen until relatively recently, like probably the Industrial Revolution, where we were able to go from dying off at really high rates and not having good distributions of money, because like the average, I think the average citizen about 100 years ago was living off of $2 a day, and then compared to now, it's the average citizen's got way more money. I think sometimes people blame the money for the whole money problem and capitalism for their own unhappiness, where it's like fundamentally capitalism is just a type of game, you know. And it's a little bit more sustainable than socialism or communism, at least it's shown to be, unless you say that communism wasn't real communism, which is an argument. The communism that did happen was something else.
I feel like no government that exists is actually what they say they are. Like every government is like, it's like even here we quote unquote live in a democracy when that's not even entirely. But we don't. It's like
More of a
in
monarchy.
communist Russia or communist Cuba, that wasn't really communism either. Like it was just a dictatorship at the end of the day. And I feel like I guess the real problem is just people being greedy if you trace it all down. Like if there's somebody who wants the whole power of a country, it doesn't matter if you're a capitalist or if you're a socialist or whatever. If you're just kind of like a piece of shit leader who just wants to benefit off of people for their own gain as opposed to public gain, like that's obviously a given that shit's just gonna go downward.
It's the same just unjust dichotomy, you know.
Mhm.
Either be a complete dickhead with the money, and it might not even be you might not even be very obvious, you know, but you don't spend money serving a higher purpose or actually helping your community or elevating the next generation. You just blow it on other things, or you could spend that money to help future generations. But the interesting thing is usually people are a blend of both. It's not as black and white, except the brain likes to think 0-1.
Because nothing is ever black and white. Everything has a nuance to it, and nobody's entirely right about anything, There's always that middle ground for sure.
What do you guys think an AI government would look like? It's like you're talking about how like leaders always have kind of a human bias, and is something wrong in that case? What would it look like if the whole government is run by artificial intelligence?
Oh no, man. It's a good question because like it could either go like the fucking what's that movie? Fucking not Transformers. Terminator. Terminator. It could either go Terminator, that's just a lethal logic. I don't think that would actually happen. I think it could work maybe, but I don't know. I don't know enough about.
I think making it the master is not a good idea, personally.
Yeah.
But I think they're saying that we're going to merge with it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
it wouldn't really
wouldn't be AI, it'd be AI plus human
Mm-hmm.
is the next leader.
Wait, Jack, you did some AI stuff, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I took a mind, brains, and computers class, and then I'm starting to. It's really interesting because I was like, that was interesting, and then I did a little bit of research on deep neural networks and machine learning and stuff like that, and I'm going to start teaching myself code over the next couple months and see where that goes. But I think it's fascinating seeing where that goes in the next couple decades.
Oh, I'll be right back in 1 second. Sorry, guys.
No
Nice.
worries.
Good.
I'll be back.
Oh.
I'm sure more coffee. I'm tired.
Burn the cup. Oh, good.
It's going pretty good.
That's gonna be our clip. Need another cup of coffee.
Yeah,
Jack, let's go make some more coffee.
Cool.
Before we get going, again, what type of music are you into?
I like all types of music, man.
Okay.
I've been listening to like a lot of like hip hop and stuff. Because I used to be really into music production, and I've been trying kind of getting back into it more.
Cool. What type of production?
I make like hip hop beats and stuff.
Nice.
Yep. I use FL Studio.
FL Studio. Okay. I'm an
Yeah.
Ableton guy, but I've heard FL's a little bit nicer.
Yeah, dude, you can do a lot of shit with Ableton, man. I wish I had a Mac. I would definitely use Ableton if I had a Mac.
I get lost though. Like it's so much. It is nice that there's a lot of options, but like you have to be basically like a wizard to get what you want out of it.
Yeah, man.
How long have you been doing that?
Oh, dude, since I was like 14 in high school.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I stopped because like I had a bunch of music in my computer and like it broke and I just lost like years worth of music.
That's
and
like, so disheartening. Oh my
god. Dude, I was so like fucked up about it and I just like stopped music for a while, dude. It fucked me up a bit. But yeah.
That's interesting because I've been really like kind of paranoid about having all my stuff on like one computer, like one hard drive. It's like, what if that shit's dead? Like it's gone.
Dude, I would definitely get an external hard drive if you can, just to like back everything up because that's where I fucked up. I lost like years worth of shit, and
Try a little bit.
Bueno. Yeah, dude, for sure. I was like, because I used to hang out with like music producers and stuff. So I remember like when that happened, I like called my friend who was in there, and I was like, dude, I lost it, man. I lost all of it. And then he was like, fuck, dude, that sucks, man. And I was in the process of getting a new computer and everything, but then it's kind of all.
Yeah. Are you trying to get back up into it?
A little bit, yeah. Trying to get back into it a little bit. I was having some problems with my computer because I had to update it and stuff, and it wasn't like it's kind of getting overloaded with everything.
Yeah.
So I had to uninstall it. I'm gonna reinstall the FL Studio and use it again.
Do you have any of your beats or anything like that?
Not on me. Let me see. Let me see if I have it on my.
If you have any saved, I was asking about music because I try to do like an intro of like whatever influence music that you like and an outro with music that you like. But if you would be cool that we could just maybe use some of your beats or some of your music for that.
Yeah, dude, for sure, definitely, yeah.
Cool.
There you
Yeah. That's
That AI question though, I'm still thinking about it.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy, dude. Like, cause it's like it could be useful, but it's like I feel like people will fuck up sometimes. But I feel like if everything was like so, you know, mechanical, if you will, like that would also be bad for society. So I feel like it has to be like a balance of the two if we were to use it for government stuff at some point.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I just think it'd be interesting because people like one of the arguments for Trump is like, oh, we want a businessman to help with the economy, or like, there's always room for human error in finances. If you were to be run by like an actual, mechanism, a computer, or whatever, like you could be able to have a lot more insight into what the economy would look like.
yeah. Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. But I feel like if we would have to have a balance of the two for it to work. Because I feel like sometimes people fuck up too hard and they just fuck shit up even more.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like you kind of need that to learn. Because I feel like if we were just to be like machine run, we would all kind of turn into robots and not think for ourselves. And that would also be bad for society.
True.
So,
True.
Yeah.
Certain facets of the government too, like you couldn't even think about a robot, right? Like the EPA or something like that. Like I don't even know how that would work with an AI.
Might be a pretty good tool though. Help you run the organization a lot more efficiently from a couple of standpoints.
True.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, because I feel like in the FDA, like people who run that shit are like people who used to work in like the meat industry and stuff. So it's like that also kind of gives you perspective of like, oh, there's like some corruption and bias there with that organization. So
meat industry, fucking crazy.
What's up?
The meat industry, how many cows they kill.
Mm-hmm.
And people are completely detached from it too. Cows, chickens, everything, and just funnel them in.
Fuck them, kill them all.
And just burn, kill, breed a bunch. Interestingly, I read about 2 seconds worth of an article from an expert, but it was on bison. It was on bison, and they're selling them now to actually make their population size go up because I think they're farming them. And then now saving like an endangered bison population, but now bison meat's a thing. Like people buy it at stores. Because I was eating it about like a week ago, and I thought, aren't these endangered animals? Why am I eating these? And why are they at grocery stores? But apparently it's counterintuitively helping them, which I hope that's true.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
True. It gives them funding to give them
to breed them.
Yeah,
That
just
makes
start
sense.
eating lions. Start saving them. Direct correlation.
That'd be fucking cool though, like eating lion meat. Like I wouldn't advocate for it, but I feel like
one step more, eat liger meat.
yeah.
It tastes like shit though.
Probably.
Some
Probably
muscle.
fatty and fucked up.
I think it's fatty.
I don't know. They're not natural animals, but.
Actually, like liger. Probably. Tiger's probably like muscly and shit.
Yeah, I wonder if you just get like a testosterone boost from eating it though. Grow
Probably.
2 inches. Maybe
pause.
Yeah, maybe
just
large, like HGH.
Yeah.
What percent of the population do you think would still eat meat if each individual had to kill its meal?
I really want to eat more vegetables.
Yeah.
That's a weird time to bring up a personal preference.
Yeah, dude, I was a vegan for like a month in high school. And,
how long were you vegan for?
like a month. Yeah, yeah, dude.
And then some people do
Just had
though.
to fuck with
Like
you.
some people are like, oh yeah, I tried it for a day. It's like, well,
Yeah, because I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a vegan because I saw a documentary about this pig farm on HBO when I was a kid. I forgot what it was called, but it was a pretty fucked up one. Like it was just like a really bad like farm, and they would like just straight up like torture the animals for fun and stuff. Like
Yeah.
this dude like went undercover and like basically spied on them, and he was like a employee or whatever, but he was like documenting everything. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, I have to stop eating meat because this shit's fucked up. And then it was Thanksgiving, so then I stopped being a vegan.
I
because
did
of that. Yeah.
I wonder, like, that's got to be a shit job. I wonder how good the pay must be to work in the meat industry because you could.
It's terrible because a lot of the people who work there are undocumented immigrants because the companies take advantage of it because it's like, oh, we have undocumented immigrants, we can just call ICE or Border Patrol and we will have to pay them. So even like right now, like a lot of like, did you hear about the whole meat packing industry stuff right now with the whole Corona stuff? Like the employees were getting sick because the companies were making them work, because, and like, people were dying because of it. And yeah, like I feel, I heard that there was like a big meat shortage because of all of that, but yeah.
Damn, that's craziness. And they were just still making them work through it.
And because, a lot of them are undocumented immigrants, like we can't do anything about it because they're like, okay, if I stop working, they're going to call ICE and it's a whole shit show,
Terrible situation to be in, man.
Yeah, it sucks.
Oh.
Yeah, shit's fucking depressing right now, man. The fucking world, dude. It's fucking
One of those where it's like, I mean, this obviously I don't think is the best stance to take, but at some points it makes you want to think like ignorance is bliss,
No, for sure, dude. Like, I feel like that sometimes. Like, I feel like, oh, I just want to like, get away from everything.
Yeah.
That's why I like doing comedy because it kind of takes you out of all the negative shit, going on.
Yeah. Take the edge off of things a little bit because if you take things seriously all the time, fucking, poof.
Yeah, because it's like, I don't know, like in stages in my life where I took shit like way too seriously, like I just felt bad. Like it was like just like, energy wise. And that's why I like doing comedy so much because it's just like, okay, I don't have to take everything seriously, You have a good time even.
Does it give you kind of a release to do as well?
Yeah, dude, for sure. It helps me just kind of chill out about stuff because like I feel like I kind of need it sometimes. But I don't know, like I feel like with with stand-up specifically, like I feel like people can get like too obsessed over it because you kind of have to be obsessed to be good at it. And I feel like sometimes that kind of takes away from like your real life or whatever, and you stop focusing on relationships and stuff, and stop focusing on that, and it just kind of fucks shit up too. But it's all just a balance at the end of the day, But yeah, I think it's a release thing.
I feel like you see people get obsessed with it though.
You have to be that way, or else because it's like you have to go up every night, to be better and practice it as much as possible and do as much shows as possible. And people get obsessed about it.
I wonder, I won't use the word like ruined, but has it changed how you receive or intake comedy as a viewer, having like doing it and studying it now?
I guess yes and no. Like because like I feel like you can kind of notice who's like more hacky, like something that I would find funny, like a meme or something.
Right.
Like I'll be kind of a pretentious douche and I'll be like, oh, this fucking guy doing that same fucking joke. What the fuck? That's not even funny. Somebody else has done. Like it just turned into like a douche.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone's it on that aspect. But I feel like I kind of it opens your mind more to like finding other things funny as opposed to like finding hackier material is funny.
Yeah.
Hey, Jesus.
What's up? What's up?
How much would I have to pay you to work as a butcher? Not a butcher. Somebody that like kills animals.
I think it's one of those jobs I actually wouldn't do.
Yeah.
Weirdly, I would do most jobs. I'd do some shitty jobs. I don't think I could keep it together if I was just cutting up animals all day.
Dude, I wonder if any of those people go on to be like psychopaths. Because I wouldn't blame them.
They're probably disconnected from it, honestly.
Because you have to be desensitized, because it's like, you know, most people working those jobs are like people in not so good situations that are like, oh, I have to make money somehow, and it's just another way to do it. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
I would not want to do that job, man.
Yeah, dude, it would suck, man. Yeah, it would suck.
But at the same token, it's like that's such an extreme version of what naturally would just happen back in the day when we were just raised in the plains. Because it's just not a fair game anymore. We used to hunt them and kill them, or we'd raise them, and then we'd go and we'd kill a cow, and you pray to the gods and thank the gods for the cow.
I'm super happy about killing the animal then.
It was great gratitude to the animal for the food it was giving you. And nowadays, people just eat without thinking about it. Like you could eat like the roaster chickens, for instance. The whole ass carcass of a chicken, and people will just eat it like it's no big deal. That's like literally just
pick this apart with my hands.
You can see its spine. It's nuts. Like the ridge of its spine, and you just eat all of its chest and its legs. And people were like, oh, it is what it is. You don't think about it.
Yeah, dude, you don't think about it. Like, there's a lot of shit that I feel like people need to start thinking about more. Like, you know. And the thing that sucks, like, is that, like, in order to be, like, a vegan, like, you have to have the money to do it, because it's more expensive to, like, you know, be more environmentally friendly, as opposed to, like, you know, if you don't have a lot of money, you're gonna go eat at a fast food restaurant that's cheaper or whatever. Yeah, it sucks.
I don't think we know a lot about nutrition, honestly.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
Meat, we eat eating meat every day. Some people eat it every day. That's insane. Well, it's about, like, some people eat only meat, but
oh, dude, that's crazy. Yeah, dude, it's like, because it's like, there's more animals out there than like chicken, beef, and pork, you know? And the fact that as a standard, like, you know, in this country, we just eat those three animals, it's kind of fucked up, because you just kind of see them as a product. You don't really see them as an animal. You know,
disassociation, like you were saying earlier.
I wish with nutrition we could just get to a point where you could tell an individual what the best, like, as far as optimization and like sustainability goes, like what diet you should eat. Because I would totally just do that. You know, but I feel like there's too many like unknowns in nutrition.
I think it depends on your body too, your individual body.
Yeah. So, you know,
you have to get tested. And in the future, we might be able to do that a little bit more efficiently, where we can test. Maybe that's part of the healthcare system. Healthcare plans, you test people
that'd be
on their kids, and it's like, oh, what are you allergic to? What do you like? What does your body respond well to? What type of exercise is better for you? But then you start getting into the people get freaked out, because then we're like, are we creating superhumans at that point? Do we stop being human? I don't think for that. But I was thinking of a movie where they clone someone, and their clones are perfect. It's like it's not clones actually. It's they.
Is it The Island?
Well, they create like a super race of people. Like they like.
Yeah, I think is it The Island? Is it called The Island?
I don't think so. It's like in vitro fertilization, and then there's a brother that's got like bad vision, and he's got human flaws, and then there's a brother that is perfect in every way because they designed him to be perfect, and he was born in the lab. And it's all about the future of the human race. If we could create perfect human beings, should we? Like the thought experiment.
Yeah.
It's a cool idea to think about. Feels like would happen perfect.
Have you seen Ex Machina?
No, I've heard of it.
Fucking awesome movie. I just saw it a couple weeks ago.
I remember.
Yeah, dude, it's so good. I love that movie.
You remember Baloney's class?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
But I had to write that huge term paper because I was a huge fuck my junior year. Not in a bad way. I was just like not good at organizing.
Not anymore? A huge fuck. Sorry. You're getting better at
it. Owie. We had to write that term paper and just study like 4 days before it was due. I didn't even read the paper. I just watched Ex Machina and thought I was learning about AI. Tried to tie it to my paper and I never did, but I successfully used 7 hours very badly. Not 7, but 2 hours badly.
But Maloney was a chill teacher, though. I
He's a-
feel like he didn't give you a bad grade for that assignment or anything like that.
Nah, he didn't.
He was chill. That was probably one of my favorite professors. I just liked the way he moved his hands in class. Like he would always do the. It was really theatrical with it. It was cool. Yeah, man.
I don't know Luna was in here.
Molly.
Oh, Luna.
Hello, little buddy.
She's made an appearance in every podcast
Every
so far. This is my
Is it
dog.
a dog?
Yeah, Luna, come here. Come here. Nope, she's going to bed.
Oh, yeah, just fuck that.
Yeah, she's going to sleep. She's going to take a nap.
Little nappy nap.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Do you think, and if so, what's your time frame that you think AI will take over a lot of like things that humans do on a daily basis? Like, can they? And if so, like, what type of time frame?
Probably sooner than we think.
Really?
Probably like maybe even like 10, 20 years from now, in my opinion. Because like we've made a lot of technologically advanced moves in recent years, and I feel like if we were to make that move, it probably like I think it'd be sooner.
Mm.
I don't even know if I'm backing up what I'm saying with any sort of valid truth, but I just feel like
I don't think there's any facts behind this. I think it's all just inference, you know?
Speculation.
Yeah.
well, because Elon Musk and stuff, like did you see his tweets and stuff? He's getting crazy now.
What is he saying?
He's saying like, oh, like we need to reopen and just a bunch of stuff. I don't have Twitter, but I saw a bunch of tweets online.
Yeah. I think the quirky thing with Corona is they don't really know what the death rate actually is, depending on. They're worried about the at-risk populations, but a lot of people are getting upset because apparently for a lot of people the death rate's very low, except for the at-risk populations. And then you could say that's greed or just self-survival, and they want to start working again because they don't see the risk. And there was a huge pandemic in 1918, and people kept working through it. A lot of people died, but
Yeah,
people don't like what it's doing to the economy because we're going to go into a lot of debt.
but I feel like it's gonna. I feel like it's gonna, like, cause like I feel like all the states that are reopening, like including ours, like there's gonna be a second wave of bigger, obviously, bigger death rates, more coronavirus cases, and we're gonna have to lock down again, and it's just gonna push back everything that we've kind of done with quarantine. Because like in China, they reopened like a city, I think like a month ago, and they were letting schools and children go to schools and everything, and then like right away, like they saw the negative repercussions of doing that. Like they entered like a third state of emergency, and they had to do another lockdown, and they had to do the whole thing again. So like I feel like that's gonna end up happening, and it's gonna be a worse situation economically because I feel like even if we reopen, people aren't going to be inclined to go because they're scared, and the amount of money that it takes to like if you have a local business for energy, for water, for food, or whatever type of business you have, it's just not going to add up to what it used to be because of everything going on. So it's just double negative in my opinion.
I don't know. I think we should just phase it out, like, based on what we know. Like, if you're like not in a at-risk population, then maybe allow those people to go back to work or something like that. But just be mindful of not everybody is going to be good to go to just jump back into the world. Like, and I think it is hopeful that there's a lot of testing for like antibodies going on. So I feel like once you've been cleared, like you've had it, you've come in contact, you're fine. You know, then you get kind of like a clearance.
Yeah, I feel like they need to do more testing and they need to make it accessible for everybody to have it because, like, you know, the fact that you have to pay for it just kind of fucked up in my opinion. You know, you should have to.
Expensive too. Not the antibody. Well, the antibody test might be as well, but the like original test, the test if you're like currently active, it was like upwards of $4,000 once. Like,
Yeah, dude, that's fucking crazy. You know, it's like it's affecting everybody. Like, why not just give it to everybody for free? And that's kind of, in my opinion, investing in the economy. Because if you're investing in people's health, you're going to be more closer to opening everything up and making a better economy. But people don't think about it like that. People just think about it as a quote unquote waste of money. And then, it should be.
It feeds into a little bit of the like immediacy of our generation of like wanting immediate gratification as opposed to prolonged gratification.
Yeah, dude, because like now I feel like a lot of people aren't as patient, like as they need to be. Like people need to be more patient. It's like if your struggle is just like, okay, I have to be in my house for a time and I can't go to the club or whatever. Like that's not a real struggle in my opinion. It might suck, like, it sucks. Like I would want to go hang out with my friends and stuff more, and because I live at home with my grandparents and my mom, like I can't really afford to risk it for them,
Yeah.
And it's not like the end of the world for me. Like there are people dying in the streets and stuff, and I'm fine. So this isn't really that big of a deal in my opinion. But people make it a bigger deal, like, oh, I need to go out and I need to do things. And,
Yeah. It's all
Yeah.
right.
yeah, for sure, man. Yeah.
I think the only point where it becomes a big problem, I'm sorry, you might have said it earlier, it becomes a problem when people need money somehow to pay their rent. They can't.
Yeah, dude. And and I feel like that's where the government should come in and kind of do a better job, because it's like they were able to bail out, companies right now. They were able to give them a lot of money. It's like, I feel like the money should have been directed for the people more. And then, like I said earlier, that would have helped for the economy because people could spend money on those companies and be healthier and stuff. And
Yeah, I feel like that's should be one of the basic principles of government, beyond, and this might be getting political, but basic healthcare, basic healthcare, and in case shit hits the fan, I feel like and education, probably the three main functions of government.
I'll be interested. I want to understand why they keep it the way it is, because I know there's good reason. There has to be why they keep it.
I don't think there's a good reason. I think it's just like, I hate to be like, but I think it's just capitalism at the end of the day.
Deep pocket conservatives.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a conservative. Like, no. Oh, I think it's just, I think it's kind of just a cultural thing too in this society, because like I feel like here, like in American culture, it's all about kind of like your individual self and being independent, and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's fine to an extent, but I feel like sometimes that kind of feeds into being a bit more selfish or not being as compassionate as we could be to one another.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
I wonder what the vibe's like in other countries. Actually, I heard a little bit about what's going on, like Sweden. I guess they essentially kept everything open. They were just a little more like mindful of, sanitation and shit like that.
I think they started closing everything down because they had that be a thing where they were just like, oh, we're gonna leave everything open, but then once they saw the numbers start rising and stuff, they were like, oh, we have to shut everything down.
I feel like it doesn't help anything that it's hard to kind of, besides looking at, which obviously everybody should do, is just look at numbers from the CDC, but I wish there was like more reliable outlets to let us know exactly what's going on. Because almost anything that comes from like I'll get news alerts on my phone from like Washington Post, whatever. I'm like, I'm taking all of this with a grain of salt. Like I don't think any of it is completely accurate at all.
Well, yeah, because like the rate that we get confirmed cases and the actual number that there is, like there's more out there that we're not aware of because they're not confirmed. Like I heard for a long time here in Arizona, people were trying to get the coronavirus test and they had symptoms and everything, but they said that they would only give them to you, like the coronavirus test, if you knew for a fact that you were in contact with somebody else. Mm-hmm. So like if you weren't aware and you came in contact and you had symptoms, you weren't allowed to get a test basically.
Yeah.
And that was also kind of a flaw. And that's kind of not showing the accurate numbers.
Yeah, and I work in a healthcare clinic, and I had knew of somebody that essentially like they're not giving out a diagnosis of COVID, even though like the providers know that it's COVID because there's nothing they can do about it. Like, are you in need of respirator? If not, let's just call it a respiratory illness and stay at home and try and write it out because there's nothing we can do for you. Essentially, just scary.
Yeah, it's a trip, dude, because it's like, so yeah, there's like more people who think they're fine, and they could be asymptomatic and recovered well, but they could just be giving it to other people, and then that's a whole other issue.
Yeah. So you say you're with, like, you live with people that are kind of like at risk. Has that kind of changed? Are you sticking pretty close to not going out and doing anything?
Have you gone?
Yeah, definitely. I'm not like, I haven't seen like my friends in a while, like gone over to it, because I used to just like hang out with like my comedy buddies, and we just like chill and stuff. But yeah, I've just been like staying at the house and been going to the grocery store just for them, and just coming back. Like I haven't really been going out with them as I used to.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, it's like not really a big deal in my opinion. Like it's just like, like, oh, I just have to write it out. Just a thing. Like I heard somebody being like, oh, it's just like a medicine that you kind of have to take so that it doesn't get worse, and just have to take the medicine sometimes.
Yeah. Tough pill to swallow, but a pill we probably need.
Yeah, I think it was just the lack of information that was probably driving people insane. As they said, like, you got to go quarantine, and then like, we don't really know how long it's going to be. We just got to write it out. And then some people are more patient than others, and some people are more cooperative with the government than others, and some people are more patriotic than others. Some people are more libertarian. And some people just say, fuck it, I'm still going to do whatever I want to do. Can't stop me.
Yeah, dude, because like, like people were protesting and stuff because they're like, oh, they're taking away our rights and stuff. And it's like, it's kind of ironic that the one time that the government's like, oh, just stay in and trying to focus on the health of people to some extent, is when the majority of people are like, oh, they're taking away our rights and stuff. And it's just kind of ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
Where you're right to go slave away from a country for a company.
Yeah.
Kind of odd. I feel like. Do you feel like sometimes in a way that the American public is kind of brainwashed towards capitalism?
Yeah, dude, you kind of have to. Like, it's like even me. Like, it's like when a new movie comes out, I'm like, oh, I have to watch that movie. It has fucking Jake Gyllenhaal and fucking fuck. You need to go watch it now. It's like you kind of, yeah. It's like you are kind of trained, because it's crazy, but like the TV channel that has the most advertisements are kids channels. So like when you're a kid and you're watching your cartoon, you're kind of already being conditioned and brainwashed to kind of be like, oh, I need that thing, I need that thing, I need that other thing.
That's
And when you grow up, it's just kind of, oh, I need that thing, and then you kind of see this happening right now. Where like, oh, I need to go to.
It's so cool. I don't know. I like capitalism. I don't know. You guys have an opinion in this group.
Oh yeah, I liked it too, but I feel like there's certain problems that happen. Like,
but a cool thing though, you can be fucked up and try to get kids to buy your stuff and do shady marketing strategies. But I feel like the cool thing about it is if you solve a problem, the market pays you for it. It doesn't matter if you have a monopoly or not. If you can create something that is innovative or solves a problem, then you're gonna get rewarded for it, which is cool.
Theoretically.
No, literally, man. That happens.
Yeah, it does happen. In theory, sometimes are true as well. But I think
That's not a theory anymore, though. If it happens.
No,
I don't think it's a tautological truth that's always going to be the case.
Gravity's theory.
The theory of gravity. Okay, the thing that is but I'm talking
There's no way
about.
to actually entirely prove it.
There's no gravity.
Dude, I read this book called "What If We Were Wrong" from this journalist called Chuck Klosterman, and he was talking about gravity and how basically his whole idea is that like we're as a civilization and as a society, we're not always going to have the whole picture. and we're always gonna have to like improve on something. And like he like interviewed a bunch of scientists and stuff, and then he found out that I guess like and he said that maybe like in sometime in the future we're gonna like know that some of our theory of gravity was wrong.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
so that's kind of
so on that,
crazy.
we could create a better financial system, definitely. However, at this point in time, of course, it's got to change and innovate, but overall, the package of it in theory, and what does happen a decent amount of the time, is you create a service that works and is innovative. As long as the game is somewhat just and fair, you get paid for it.
Dude, theoretical capitalism is fucking awesome. I just don't think it practically it plays out.
Yeah, dude, it's the same.
I think
It's the same thing,
it's up there.
dude. It's the same thing with communism. It's like theoretically it's popping, but reality it's not popping. You know,
Yeah,
it's just the
like,
reality. You know, people take advantage of shit for their own
100%.
reasons. And
100%. But I feel like the reality of capitalism is a little bit better than the reality of communism. No?
Well, we need to talk about specific.
I think that's just bias, man. I think it's just bias at the end of the day. Like even like me being like, oh, like this is better than that. Like I don't know that.
Equality of, when you have an equality, because communism is essentially the equality of outcome, no? So regardless of what you do, you get paid the
Well,
same.
it's not equality when like there's a clear like disproportion in funds amongst society.
I lost you there.
Oh, it's not equality monetarily.
For communism?
No, for capitalism.
No, but that's not what I was talking about. That'd be like communism, though. It's like if you, no matter what you do, even if you're a genius, you get the same pay as the dude who does nothing all day.
But well, in the theoretical communistic world, yeah. But in the actual, there's usually a leader, and he usually, you know, like Fidel Castro had Nikes on, you know, when he was president, and he like ate a bunch of lobster, and he had like a mansion and shit. So that's like a not monetarily equality. Am I making any sense?
You kind of, but at that point, that just makes communism sound even worse, though.
But that's not real communism.
Yeah, but I know. But when we tried to take the idea of communism, use it, people just became more capitalistic and horrible, or people just didn't work hard or didn't have any like. They weren't like. So, for instance, in China, farmers in China were under a communist government, and then they secretly did capitalist things out of their own preference. So that way, they could make more money and actually take care of themselves and get some wealth. But when it was communism, they were so crippled by not being able to get any higher income to take care of their families or anything like that, that they were suffering a lot. And what happens is government is led by people, and ideally what the government would do is
Take advantage of them.
no, ideally they would give just as much as you need so that way families could take care of themselves comfortably and everyone had a relatively comfortable life and you could disperse wealth. Well,
Sounds like communism.
I'm talking about communism now.
Mm.
But you're helping my point. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So what's
But that doesn't happen because then people hold on to wealth and then they don't equally distribute wealth to everybody. And it's hard to do that.
bringing up?
I feel like this is a never-ending argument. Like it's either like,
Yeah.
or it's gonna be like,
I think potentially you could. Oh, it's hard because like part of me because I am like it's just I hate communism so much and that's affecting my argument.
What about the like Netherlands and Sweden? There's places that
I'm just saying there's never been a genocide because of capitalism. No.
yeah, there has.
Has it?
Yeah, all
When?
the time. That one time back in history.
Yeah, exactly.
No. There's been
It's been sweat factories.
yeah. I mean, there's been But you're saying that the Nazi Party was communist?
No, they're fascist. But I'm saying things have not gone well if we went to that. In history when we went to that extreme.
But who in communism created a genocide aside from Stalin?
What was that?
Aside from Stalin, who was killing a bunch of people in the name of communism?
China, Mao.
Oh yeah, Mao Zedong. But then that's not true communism because if you see the picture right now, everybody's pretty much hyper-capitalistic in China, even though they say they're not.
Yeah, but
like, isn't it?
but then that's kind of the business thing we were talking about earlier, is people will say there's something, and then you just monopolize, because then you're just getting a bunch of free labor, and then you just tell people you're making the country better, and then you're just working them into the ground. Which the cool thing about, at least in my view, maybe it's not capitalism, but whatever we're doing right now, an individual, if he creates something or she creates something, will get some audience and respect and money for what they do in the current.
Not always.
In the current market, though, at least you can fight for something. Whereas if it was tilted more towards communism, there'd be no reason to be innovative or ambitious.
Well, I feel like creativity would be.
If it was something you were really into and it was your fuel, and you had enough money where you didn't really have to care anyway, and that's ideally what happens, is you just get enough money to take care of yourself. But often what happens is people manipulate the game, and then that's not what happens. But maybe it could go the other direction potentially. It's a safer, I don't know. I'm flustered. But
yeah, I don't know either, man. Shit's crazy out there. You know, the world's fucking crazy. We're in a rock. The pandemic is happening.
Maybe with social networking, we'd be able to better distribute wealth to different communities. But
I feel like there's just not enough community in a society where you're just more individualistic, because if you're just in it for yourself, you're not going to be compassionate to one another.
The pricing system and how we price objects, it's extremely complex, and it helps. There's layers to it, and then goes on and on. But it helps us like better distribute goods and services throughout the country and throughout the world. And the whole world runs off of the system. I'm not saying it's right, but just flipping it on its head is not going to go well in our life.
Neither. I'm not anti-capitalist at all. I just think we could incorporate a lot more elements of.
Yeah, we could be more socialistic for sure as a country. Like it's like the whole balance thing, right? Like you can't be too this or too that. It's got to be somewhere in the middle, and usually the middle's where everybody's chilling, you know.
Yeah,
exactly. You know, like in scenarios like this, I feel like the government could potentially help us out a lot more than, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
But they're making attempts, and obviously that's helpful. But I think that there could be more.
Yeah.
Kind of a trippy thing to say is socialism more of a archetypical maternal type of thing, and then capitalism is more archetypical, like masculine. So it's like
So you need to make sure both.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of where I'm going. But it's like you want to find a bit of both, but we lean more towards the masculine side of it right now in society, which is causing its own issues because it's tough.
Like just everything's more aggro now. Well, in the capitalistic society, everything's more like, oh, I need that, and I'm gonna get that at all costs, and whatever the fuck, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Control it, buy it, own it, manipulate it. Whereas socialism is more, it's all here, just chill, live life.
Yeah.
Which I think in a country where we do have abundance, I feel like a little bit more of that would not be harmful for sure.
Not the need, want, gimme.
Yeah. Because they were straight up throwing away all of the, because a lot of the restaurants were shut down because of obvious reasons, and they just straight up like threw away like milk and like meat and stuff because they had no quote unquote market for it. But you know, if I was the owner of that, you know, I would be more inclined to giving that food out to people who need it. And,
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, should be crazy.
That.
Are you farsighted?
Nearsighted.
Nearsighted? Oh, farsighted. Farsighted.
Farsighted?
Mm-hmm.
That's where you can't see up close, right?
Farsighted is when you can't see up close, and then nearsighted is when I can see it up close, but I can't far away. I don't know. Would you ever get the laser surgery?
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't?
Oh, I would. I thought you said, have you ever had it? I was like,
no. I'm thinking about maybe getting it done just to, I could just work for style. And then. Yeah,
dude, I was going to get contacts before the pandemic went down, but I couldn't. It was fucking embarrassing. I went to the place to do you have to do like this contact test where you have to like prove to the doctor that you can put on contacts. I was only able to put one in. And I had to have another appointment to get the other one in, and then the pandemic happened and I wasn't able to go.
Can Zoom that.
Yeah.
Pretty doable via Zoom.
That's crazy. They have to prove that you're able to put contacts on.
Yeah, because legally it's like it could be harmful to you. Or I don't know. I don't even know, but yeah,
Yeah,
some
you're
shit
right.
like that.
Through mail or something.
Yeah.
Freaky though doing it. They can do it without even thinking now. But do it.
You had to choose. Would you guys choose rather to be born without sight or without hearing?
I don't know, man. I feel like if I was born like that, I'd probably just like accept it and just kind of.
So either which way.
What's up?
So like either way.
Yeah, because I feel like I don't know. Like I feel like it's kind of hard to understand like what that experience is kind of like. Like if I were to go deaf like tomorrow or blind tomorrow, like I feel like that'd be a whole nother experience. Huh. Like if I had to do that, shit, dude, I don't know, man. I feel like it'd be the same thing because you'd still be like, oh, I lost the sense of me or something.
Yeah.
But
Which
if
one would
I
you,
learn to live with it and just move on, you know?
if it were tomorrow, which one would you choose?
I don't know. I feel like both would be the same. I don't know. Fuck, dude, that's a hard ass question.
Well,
Because part of me wants to be like vision because I can see stuff, but because I want to do stand up, I don't know if I just want to hear and be more conversational, you know?
Wonder if there are any.
Maybe I would go blind. I
Wonder
think
if there
maybe
are any
I'd go blind, yeah.
Yeah. Be like the Ray Charles of stand up.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah.
Double blind stand-up comedian.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, I know someone who's a blind stand up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Tucson. Yeah, his name's Tony. Well, he's legally blind. I guess there's like some difference as to what that is, but yeah, he's legally blind.
You can see basic shapes though, and stuff in front of him.
Something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but it's like you can. I think it's like you can see somewhat, but you can't really see. And being blind is like straight can't see.
To me, that seems scary. I don't know. I can imagine being in a world without being able to hear things, but thinking about being in a completely like black world where you can't see, like that'd be just kind of like scary, you know. But also, like you're saying, like if you're born into it, something you just kind of adapt to, and it's not any different. But now thinking about the loss of it, lose my eyesight would be terrifying.
Yeah, because what if we were all like as a species born with wings, but then they just cut it off when we were like, you know, a kid, and we would just never know. We'd just be this body right now. You know?
Yeah. Imagine what you think the external world looks like if you've never seen before. Just different shapes and textures. Can you even think of images in your head? Do you think
like colorblind people, it's like, you know, they can't fathom like it's probably a trip if they can see color. Isn't there like there's like some glasses that make you see color or something like that for colorblind people? Yeah.
It is put them on and they can start seeing colors. So cute.
I just wonder, like would you if you never had seen something ever in your life, I wonder if images come up just deep in your neurochemistry, or if you just don't have any images in your head ever. You just think of sounds and textures, and maybe you can piece together what a shape is by feeling it. You can like feel an orb and think of like that roughly looks like this in my head. But,
bet you would be off though. I bet you it wouldn't be.
Yeah, but that'd be awesome. Like representing that somehow, how they see the world. Big cool little project with artists.
Art looks like a person that's never seen.
Big cool little collab if you ever meet someone who'd be down to do that. Have artists represent how, I don't know, every different type of disability views the world. So how blind people view things.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Wasn't
Helen Keller, she's
Helen
blind and
blind?
deaf.
Yeah, she did some art, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Did she?
Jesus, yeah.
She was a writer, Helen Keller, and she couldn't see,
Mm.
so she was able to write like novels and be famous and stuff like that.
That's cool.
She was, I think she was blind then deaf, or deaf and blind, or something like that.
Mm.
She lost one later in her life, so that's why she was able to learn how to talk or something.
Got it.
But there's been a lot of cases where like people who, like there was somebody who was like a paraplegic and couldn't speak and stuff, and they ended up like getting like a PhD and like doing a bunch of like research and stuff,
Yeah,
or something like
crazy.
that.
Human potential is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, dude. It's like I think it's like if you have the drive, you can pretty much accomplish what you want to accomplish.
Mm.
But then there are certain circumstances that you can't control. But
Yeah, I think people need fuel too, something that actually, like for you, it's stand up, or at least it sounds like it has been that for a while, and that just kind of, when you do it, it makes you feel more energized, and then you want to keep doing it.
yeah, dude, it makes me feel good. That's why I do it a lot. Well, why I used to do it a lot
Mm.
before the fucking pandemic and shit. Fucking that bitch coronavirus and everything.
All right, guys, you want to
We can start ending it.
try and call it?
What we should do though is where you're going to be coming up here after. What are your normal spots that you go to? Maybe we could.
You can catch me at
You want?
probably the screening room. There's not really any shows lined up because of everything. Everybody doesn't know exactly when it's going to be safe to go out there and perform. So I guess just follow me on Instagram and I'll try to be funny there or something like that.
What's your handle for everybody?
Jesus _ biped, like a Jesus _ BIPED.
And are you on Twitter or anything else? Okay.
Twitter. Yeah, I'm working on like a cartoon thing with my brother. So
Cool.
Right on.
still not done yet, so I don't know when that's gonna happen. But when it happens, you'll know it on my Instagram. Follow me on Instagram.
And then thank you for doing this. Appreciate it. It's been awesome.
Yeah, dude. Thank you guys for having me. It was good. I had a lot of fun. I like the AI stuff. It made me think about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.